Can you beat Spore without breaking any of the laws of medicine? Before we answer this question, we'll have to clear up a few things. First, what are the laws of medicine? And second, we'll have to establish which ones actually apply to Spore. Now obviously, I'm not talking about licensing laws, federal regulations, and civil or criminal statutes, because that varies for every country or institution. I'm talking about the 4 core principles derived from the ancient Greeks' Hippocratic Oath. Principles that still guide modern medicine to this day, which are autonomy, respecting the patient's rights; beneficence, actively doing good and acting in the patient's best interest; non-maleficence, do no harm; and justice, being fair. Throughout the run, I'll be basing every in-game decision on these 4 core principles. So with that in mind, there's just one final question left. Is this even possible? Starting off the cell stage, I'll be playing in Planet Wukraka, as a herbivore of course, to ensure that I adhere to the first of the 4 principles, non-maleficence. The main gameplay loop of the stage is pretty simple. You swim around the murky pool, eat things, try to not get eaten, occasionally upgrade cell parts to survive, rinse and repeat until the progress bar fills all the way before evolving as a species to the next stage. Being herbivores, our mouths are biologically suited to solely eat this green mush plant matter seaweed plankton thing. And that's basically what I'll be doing for the next 20 minutes or so. And here's where our first of many ethical dilemma kicks in. Non-maleficence in itself prevents you from causing harm to others, but it does not inherently stop doctors from defending themselves. Now imagine a doctor gets involved in a hospital shooting and is being held at gunpoint. If they don't have the survival instincts of a balloon, they try to dodge, and probably is compelled to restrain them.
Maybe permanently.
And that's totally okay, because self-defense isn't harm, it's survival. So here's the rule I'm going with. If something attacks me first, I can fight back. Simple, right? Because apparently, the nerds from the ethics committee thinks it's too much to fight back against aliens who are actually trying to kill us. I continue the journey of being the bigger man, leaving the pesky little orange alone to continue our routine while upgrading our parts along the way to become the apex vegetable munching machine. Which basically allowed me to continue to run smoothly and gather enough DNA materials to progress to the next stage. Now after spending 2.1 billion years in the tide pool, our species has finally made its way to land. Which brings us to arguably Spore's best in-game feature, their 3D creature creator, which allows us to mold our alien to the most ideal life form that embodies everything a doctor should be. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Kratos species. Get it? Cause Hippocrates, the old guy? Firmly taking our first steps on land, I begin my quest for world dominance, world peace. In this segment of the game, instead of a single-cell organism, you get to control a pack of land dwellers. To progress, you either build relationships with other species or force the rest to extinction while collecting DNA along the way, as indicated in this bar below. And apart from non-maleficence, we'll also focus more on the beneficence aspect in this stage, which is the act of doing good. So instead of fully embracing our potential to become Cthulhu incarnate, for the good of the planet and its inhabitants, we'll be evolving the Kratos species into something the planet Wukraka deserves, but not necessarily the one it needs right now. We'll turn our little alien into an opera-singing, street-dancing, pleasantly charming, and cutely posing walking buffet of friendliness. I'll be doing so by utilizing the social stance to seduce the neighboring camps aggressively into becoming friends. But first, I'll refuel the creature's energy with some alien mangoes before heading my way to the Levies. Once there, I sang my heart out, impressing not just one, but 2 of the Levies to officially make them my allies, which earned us quite a bit of DNA and some new parts. Feeling absolutely electric from the encounter, I strut back to the nest for a booty call with my missus. As we lock eyes, the fire pits glow brighter, the drums beat a little faster, and let's just say because of this, the species advances in more ways than one. Now equipped with more firm musculature and functional limbs, the Kratos species has unlocked various new ways of socialization. After refueling with the same alien mangoes and picking up 2 seashells, I then head over to the Jubals to serenade these orange globs into our alliance. Because of the built-up experience of having socialized with fellow inhabitants of the planet, the Kratos species has adapted to its evolutionary needs, improving their brain power, allowing me to hire another into the gang. I still don't know what these seashells are for. After deciding to bring the Jubals along with me, I then repeat the routine of allying the surrounding creature camps while evolving the Kratos species through different iterations, upgrading and removing parts with things progressing smoothly. But after this is where things go south really fast. After numerous attempts of dancing, getting rejected, singing, getting rejected, and posing before getting rejected again, I then encountered an epic, an absolute tank of a creature, 10 times our size and 1,000 times our health. And right now, it's looking at me like I'm a light snack. Step after step, stomp after stomp, the ground shakes beneath us. But I keep moving. The nest is close. I can see it, just between those trees. One final stride, my winged ear catches the air, gliding me forward as I cross the threshold and tumble into my home. I'm finally safe. Outside, the epic roars. It doesn't leave. Not yet. It's cautious, scanning and surveying my nest like it's still deciding if I'm worth the trouble. I hold my breath. Am I alive? Nope, the tall jerkback just rams his 10-ton body into me, killing me with one hit, marking our first death as a species. It's official. The Kratos species has reached its peak. Maybe, just maybe, that being a green monstrosity straight out of your nightmares might not be the best idea to befriend primitive animals who survive solely on instincts. It's time to rethink our approach. It's time for a rebrand. Still with do no harm and beneficence in mind, I stuck to the principles and rebuilt from the ground up. I decided to make the Kratos species look as friendly as possible so as to not invoke fear and other negative emotions like my previous creations did. All in all, merging it into one cohesive creation. The epitome of friendliness. Let me show you Kratos V2. Look at it, there's no way you don't trust something like this to handle your care, right? Ignore the spiky hands, it gave the best stats. And as fate would have it, the Kratos species has reached the age of migration. A journey every species must eventually take. The search for a new home, a fresh start, a chance to leave behind the instincts that once defined them. Continuing off the good note, we've reached peak social status. Thanks to the upgrades from the rebranding and also by bringing along the 3 other tribe members, we impressed the neighboring camps very easily. As we journey through the migration path, I speedran the Ramus and Tree Frogs before encountering the Okabigs, slowly inching our progress bar, readying myself for the next step. In the middle of jiggling my booties, a sharp and eerie noise appeared, scattering the barbaric creatures, including myself of course, because I do not want to be involved. Lo and behold, it was a spaceship. A first look into what is in store for us later. A quick glance of what the future may hold. Coincidentally, I also arrived at my new nest, reuniting with the other alphas and babies of the Kratos species, quickly making myself comfortable. Apparently, alien tech does not guarantee great navigation. But still fearing the safety of my people, I quickly activated the stealth button in fear of getting yanked out like a doll in a claw machine, successfully hiding us from the scanners of the foreign spaceship. And right after that encounter, a rogue shows up in my vicinity. One of the strongest creature types I can befriend in-game, which is good for me. With it tagging along, I know it will increase our chance for survival from looming threats. To guarantee it, I activated my Siren Song, charming it so my pack can woo it easily with our newly upgraded acrobatic skills. Now with the rogue breeze shadowing along, we've officially reached world peace. Nothing else can reject my friendship requests anymore, not even the fat birds. Who would have guessed I could dance this well, huh? And with that, we have officially beaten the creature stage, allowing us to advance to the next part of our journey. After 3 billion years of evolutionary drift, the Kratos species has achieved what few organisms on the planet Wukraka ever will. Structured society. Here, by the banks of a modest watering hole, a tribe emerges, not from conquest, not from violence, but from coordinated friendliness. This is the tribal stage, and for the Kratos, it will either be their greatest triumph or their extinction. This is also where we get to finally clothe our cute little aliens. In this stage, the goal is simple: to befriend rival tribes by playing music and providing tributes while also building up our village to its fullest potential. And we'll be doing so with the help of our first ever leader of the Kratos tribe, Chieftain Mariano. He's got special powers! He can regrow the alien mangoes, which are the basic resource or currency needed for basically everything at this stage. This time we'll be focusing on the justice aspect, which is being fair, the third of the 4 principles of bioethics. Treating everyone fairly here does not mean equality, but equity. In the tribal stage, that means I can't just treat every tribe identically. I have to assess who needs what and what needs who. One tribe might need extra gifts to start, another might need space, and another might just need a long therapy session. Like, why are they so angry? Also, the rogue Brish tagged along and became our pet. He just sits there and does whatever he does. I'm not really sure what for. We start off with a population of 3 in our modest village. Surrounding us are inferior races still stuck in the creature stage. Expecting the worst, I decided to stockpile food to appease future invaders. Also, to bolster our chances of surviving, I introduced another member to our tribe. Not long after comes the birth of a neighboring tribe of Ogrins. Speaking of which, Farmer Bablet from that tribe came and greeted us. And this is where I realized that just having a stockpile of food is not enough. We can also provide instruments to our members in order to match the requests of other creatures in hopes of starting a friendship with them, which for some reason wasn't working. Well, that's kinda rude. And of course, somehow it's now the pink tribe's turn to invade us. I have a stinging feeling that they know how much of a pushover we are. Oh wow, our chieftain really isn't coping well, huh? But that's okay because he's got special powers! Having arrived in our village, the raiding spearsmen stood outside demanding our attention. Naturally, due to our inherent constraints from the challenge, we can really not do anything except to stroke their egos and throw them tributes of our hard-earned mangoes. Mariano takes the lead, offering up our hard day's work, successfully calming down the pink roots. Also, the other villages started sprouting up one by one. Right after the pinks left, another farmer of the browns came by, but this time, the Kratos tribe is prepared with maracas. Also, this thing is finally clickable. Finally increased our standings with the brown village. Curious after, our first acquaintance Bablet came back for an encore. Satisfied with our performance this time, they scored us a 10, which officially allied their tribe with ours. With that, we've gained prestige, allowing the expansion of both our village buildings and population. I swear to God I did not intentionally do this. Our tribe members have somehow gained some form of autonomy and decided to end this little guy's life right after the unskippable cutscene. This doesn't count, please. Aside from that, there really isn't much to this stage. I repeat the process to all the surrounding tribes while occasionally upgrading the flash mob capabilities and building more stuff for the village until we're all allied, and that's basically it. The tribal stage is done.
The Krates have done the unthinkable. They pacified an entire continent without a single war. They danced when others would have fought. They sang when others would have slaughtered. They offered gifts when others would have taken heads. But what comes next? What does a species that refuses to conquer build? Not armies, not walls, not weapons. A hospital.
But unfortunately, things don't always go as planned. After swiftly securing this stage's currency production unit, which are in the form of spice geysers with our cutting-edge ambulances, we've acquired the means to build up the Kratos town to its utmost potential, creating a safe haven for all. Progressing the stage, however, is a whole different matter. In this stage, the only way to advance is either through military conquests, economic domination, or religious conversion. And because the Kratos species has spent its entire evolutionary history refusing to harm literally anything with a pulse, the game automatically categorized us as a religious civilization. Although this path initially sounds like the perfect loophole for a species trying to not violate the laws of medicine, there is one small ethical issue. Autonomy, the last of the 4 principles. And as it turns out, forcefully converting entire civilizations until they abandon their beliefs and join my empire is, medically speaking, somewhat frowned upon. The only way out is to somehow acquire an economic vehicle, either from conquering a city, which is out of the question, or running over one of these small, undeveloped villages in hope for a randomized loot drop, which directly goes against do no harm. And you know, we don't want those guys showing up again, am I right? So this is where the Kratos species ends its journey, dreaming of space but never reaching it. The spice geysers keep pumping, the ambulances keep wee-wooing, and peaceful little circles around Kratos town. The citizens go about their day, never knowing how close they came to the cosmos. And yeah, I sat here for 47 minutes letting the recording go on, expecting the downfall of my civilization. But somehow the other nations ended up doing nothing. Hey, but at least we made a hospital and some cool ambulances. But wait. On a serious note, the 4 core principles of bioethics are more nuanced than what I portrayed in the video. In reality, medical professionals don't just blindly follow a checklist of rules. The principles of autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice often overlap, reinforce each other, and sometimes even come into conflict. But ultimately, the choice taken will be the one that benefits the patient the most in the end. I hope this video can help give some insight into the kind of reasoning that goes into patient care, and why medical decisions are often more complicated than they appear from the outside. especially in this era of social media where we are being abused and scrutinized over everything due to misconceptions. Thank you so much for watching and joining me in this somewhat amazing journey. Goodbye and subscribe.